Greetings. Welcome, class. Today I'm doing another caricature. I've done other versions of this person, several different recordings of the drawing, so I decided to have multiple videos running concurrently, and I hope this is interesting to see both the up-close and the entire figure emerging as I draw. You could say that this is a caricature of Mona Lisa. The art world assumes that the painting being caricatured is a portrait of Lisa del Giocondo. I think I'm saying that right. I don't have it in front of me though. It's by the artist Leonardo da Vinci. And there is evidence to support the assertion that Leonardo was painting a portrait of Mrs. Gioconda around the time the painting we call the Mona Lisa was being painted. What hasn't been proven is that the painting we call the Mona Lisa is the painting of Lisa del Giocondo. It could be a painting of someone else. In either case, it was never delivered to the patron, and Leonardo continued working on it for many years. I believe he kept it with him until his death. I've heard the idea expressed that the reason that the Mona Lisa is the most famous painting is because there had to be a most famous painting, and the Mona Lisa won that honor. I don't totally agree with this claim, because there are many fascinating aspects of the painting and its history, but today I intend to talk about something else.
I have a suggestion. Why don't you let me handle the narration, and you concentrate on making me look good? Yeah, just put the cue cards where I can see them, and I'll try to deliver the narration with the same monotone voice you usually would. Relax, I'm just kidding. Don't be so sensitive. So, when I was thinking about how to present drawing through video, I decided that at least initially I would focus on what I love more. The drawings I share with you most likely have started as blue line pencil style drawings. Since I'm working digitally, it's not real pencil. I'm using what I think is the final version of Autodesk Sketchbook Pro. It gives me the most pencil-like feel and results of any of the applications I've tried. So my digital drawings are much like my analog drawings. For the video, however, I'm color keying out the blue line drawings and just showing the black flexible pen style part of the drawing followed by the shading. Some color after that. Yes, some color would be nice, just saying. Alright, sorry, back to the narration. I think this approach spares the viewer from having to watch all my mistakes and corrections, though I do leave some of those in the video. It also gives a bit of mystery to the drawing as it emerges on the screen. This has been done before by others. The first name you might think of is Bob Ross. But the appeal of this approach for me comes from a man named John Robbins, a former 5th grade teacher, artist, and musician. Robbins was hired in the early 1960s by WETA, the Washington, D.C. PBS affiliate. Robbins was hired to create educational children's programming. Sesame Street was still some years off at this point. Robbins created and hosted a show called Cover to Cover, aimed at inspiring elementary school students to read.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to hold still for just a moment. Okay, go ahead.
The format had Robbins introducing chapter books to the audience. He would narrate a scene from the book, and during the narration, Robbins would create an illustration of the scene on a drawing tablet mounted on an easel. The drawing progressed in pace with the narration, which always ended in a cliffhanger that encouraged the reader to visit their public library and read the book. I watched this program with my 3rd grade class. This was before VCR or DVD players. We had to tune in at the precise time the showing was broadcast. We would sit on the floor on an area rug, clustered in front of a black and white television that was wheeled into the classroom from the school library. Sorry, I was not intending to get all nostalgic for things most of you don't remember. Oddly enough, as much as I loved and looked forward to watching Cover to Cover, I only remember one episode with any detail. It featured Betsy Breyer's book, The 18th Emergency. Within a few months of seeing that episode, a made-for-TV adaptation of the story was broadcast as an ABC after-school special. Anyone remember those? It had a different title, something like, "Hey, Marv Hammerman is off to you." I did not see the after-school special, nor did I ever read the book. I think I visited both my school library and the local library, but other kids had checked the book out already. I have vague memories of looking for other books featured on cover to cover, and finding and reading them, so it strikes me as odd that I don't have any more vivid memories of those episodes, instead of one featuring a book I never did read. The point is that I will likely associate the idea of watching a drawing created before my eyes with John Robbins and cover to cover. The show continued to run on PBS in some form or another, I believe, into the 1980s. The name of the program and the format changed a little. I think the basic formula remained intact, however by this time, Bob Ross had come along and his low-key stardom was almost immediate. For a while, I thought I remembered Ross's show being on air much earlier than it actually was. This is because Bob Ross was not the first to use the format that he made so famous. There was another painter with a similar painting show. His name was Bill Alexander. William Alexander was a German painter who left Germany following the Second World War. He launched a show on PBS called The Magic of Oil Painting. He used the wet and wet technique that he taught to Ross to create rural landscape paintings. Ross embraced the painting approach and the painting lifestyle, and worked as a kind of branch ambassador for Bill Alexander. Eventually, Ross met some folks who encouraged him to strike out on his own. Ross's now iconic show, The Joy of Painting, first aired in the early 1980s, using the techniques, tools, and some of the catchphrases that Ross learned from Alexander. It is rumored that Happy Little Trees originated with Bill Alexander. Bob Ross was also very public about his training from Bill Alexander and paid homage to his mentor on The Joy of Painting. Problems between the two men emerged as Ross's fame and favored status eclipsed those of Alexander. I remember talking about both these men during art classes in college. Bill Alexander had some amusing traits that were referenced and joked about, but Bob Ross was becoming the Mr. Rogers of the painting world, and his mannerisms were easy to imitate, making him more relevant across a diverse audience. Ross's The Joy of Painting normalized watching art being made in the same way people like Julia Child made cooking shows popular. This was not the first, just the one who became the product name, like tissues being called Kleenex, and adhesive bandages being called Band-Aids. Every artist who demonstrates a painting technique, well, any art technique, in front of a camera, will be compared to Bob Ross. I don't mind being compared to Bob Ross, but I feel like this channel will be more influenced by John Robbins. Sadly, all the artists I've mentioned by name, Leonardo da Vinci, John Robbins, Bill Alexander, and Bob Ross are gone now. They were all talented people and added color to my life. So hats off to Leonardo, John, Bill, and Bob. Great work, gentlemen.
And that is what I have for you today. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again. Class dismissed.